I know that a lot of you could be carrying a lot of trauma, a lot of emotional pain, a lot of hardships, a lot of experiences that you've had that have been very difficult to deal with. We've all gone through experiences like that, and sometimes it's very difficult to know how to let go of this stored trauma and emotions and these thinking, especially when we want to create positive experiences in our life and we have these negative thoughts or this old emotional stored trauma that seems to be preventing us from changing the lives and manifesting the goals that we want. So if you had certain experiences when you were younger that made you feel that you weren't good enough, or maybe you were abandoned, or maybe you had some traumatic experiences. Maybe you were bitten by a dog, for example. That's a really good example to use, because if you were bitten by a dog, you would have the fear, the pain, and the trauma from that experience. This is because when we have these experiences that has a particular emotional charge, if it was a very traumatic experience that you had, maybe you had a lot of pain or some abandonment issues, whatever it is, if it elicits a strong emotional reaction, your subconscious mind remembers it much more stronger. The subconscious mind remembers the emotional imprints and how you felt. And your subconscious mind remembers that. That's why certain experiences stick out much more. It can be positive experiences as well if you've had stronger positive emotions, but it really does cause issues if it's in a negative way. If you've been bitten by a dog or had any of these experiences, those emotions and those feelings stick out in your mind. And then because that memory is so strong, and the memory of those feelings, you begin to adopt beliefs and fears and phobias about that certain event that happened to try and prevent it from happening again. So when you grow up, you may see a dog, completely different circumstance, no danger whatsoever, but that part of your mind, if that emotion, that trauma and that energy is still there from when you originally had that experience when you were younger, it's going to automatically turn on the fight or flight response in your subconscious mind without you realizing it. And then what will happen? You'll start feeling the same fears, the same pain, the same trauma, the same terror as when you were younger, even though the circumstance has nothing to do with what happened. That's just an example of what can happen if we don't let go of that emotional trauma, if we don't let go of the emotions and the energy and we get stuck. That's how negative thinking, that's how certain habits can be formed that are unproductive, and that's how we can start defining things out of fear instead of abundance in our life. So we want to change them, and we want to somehow release that trauma and that emotional charge and find rebalance. That's where wonderful tools like EFT or tapping comes in. EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Technique, and it's a tapping procedure that's very similar to the theory of acupuncture and acupressure. It works in Chinese medicine where you tap certain parts of the body, which focuses on tapping an energy system called the Meridian system. EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique, is a form of energy psychotherapy, and it's very similar to acupuncture in that you tap certain parts of the body, which are the ends of the Meridian acupuncture pressure points. The Meridian system is a network of energy and circuits of intelligence. It's where the energy comes in through the body and it allows the body to function and for us on all energy levels to have health and balance. The Meridian system has been described as the highway of Qi, which is described in Chinese medicine, or prana in other traditions, or God or source energy. It's said that our Meridian system needs to have a free flow of this energy for there to be balance and health. But if these energy systems get blocked, very similar if you're familiar with the chakra system, that if one of your energy centers or your chakras is blocked, it can cause problems in the physical body, it can cause emotional disruption and imbalances and cause other issues to prevent the other chakras from functioning properly as well. The same can be with the energy system in the meridians. If there's a blockage or imbalance of energy, that can manifest in certain physical problems and other things that can cause a lot of disruption in our lives. So when we tap on certain parts of the body that are the meridian points, very similar to where you would have like the needles put in for the acupuncture. And the reason why we do this, we tap these meridian points to break up any disrupted energy or any blockages. If energy gets blocked or stored, it pulls at these acupuncture points on the body, kind of like what a dirty puddle would be. So if we've got a lot of emotion, a lot of energy that's stuck, the meridian points are stuck and the energy can't flow properly. So by tapping on these points, it helps to unblock that energy and get everything moving. But studies have also shown that as well as working on the energy, on the energetic level by breaking up the energy that's blocked in the meridian acupuncture pressure points, it has also been shown to relieve the emotional charge by helping to calm down the fight or flight part of the brain. When we're tapping On the certain parts of the body, when we're feeling stressed or anxiety, we're sending a calming signal to the amygdala, the fight or flight response to the brain. It has also been shown to help rewire the neural pathways. So what we're doing whilst tapping on the acupuncture pressure points, whilst saying, I'll get into this in a moment, but we say what it is that we are afraid of. We say what's disturbing us, or in energy medicine we would call that what's causing the energy disruption. But whilst we are tapping on these points and saying the issue that we want to release, we are sending a calming signal to the brain, to the amygdala, to calm down the fight or flight response. It's helping to rewire the neural pathways. It's helping to relieve the emotion and also get the energy on the meridian system shifting. So the way I interpret that, energy psychology is a perfect name to categorize this therapy, shall we say, because you're working on the mental, emotional, and the energetic level. Now, when doing the tapping, it can cause a lot of emotion to come to the surface. Now, this is good. When tapping, especially if you're tapping on fears, anxieties, or trauma, it's very natural for the emotion to come to the surface. Now, this is good because when the emotion comes to the surface, it means the energy is shifting. It means it's no longer trapped in your body. What can also happen is when you are tapping, is you can have memories that may come up about the issue that you're tapping on. But the idea is when you are tapping and you're going through the process of release is to not identify it with the feelings, the thoughts, and the memories that come up. It is just coming up to release. If you are aware that you have insecurities, that you have emotions, that you have trauma, you have stuck energy, you need to let it go, let it come up and go. And when something comes up to be gotten rid of, you have to witness it. You have to see that it's going. It has to pass through your consciousness to be released. The idea is to not reattach to the trauma and make it a thing again. All of this is doing is just bringing stuff up for release. Much the same as if you are emptying out an old cupboard or an old garage or clearing out your room or something. You'll go through stuff that, oh, I haven't seen this for a while. Oh, I got this then. I accumulated that then. You might not remember it. And you might suddenly have memories and feelings and associations with things come up as you see them, but you're clearing stuff out. You're not finding the stuff you need to get rid of, get reattached to it again, and then start using it again. You're getting rid of it so that you can start making room for new space, for new things, and in our case, for new energy, new thoughts, beliefs to start manifesting the goals and transforming the life that you want to live. EFT has been helped to help so many people relieve from so much emotional stress, anxiety, turmoil, phobias, you name it. It's been a wonderful technique that a lot of people are discovering more and more of and are finding great results. And it's one of the first techniques that I ever learned back in my spiritual awakening. And it's been wonderful to help me manage my stresses and anxiety. And it's still a technique that I regularly use. So I'm going to do an example now of the EFT, the basic EFT tapping technique. You can try along with me if you wish. If you're in a safe place to do so, you're not driving, not operating any heavy machinery, if it's a suitable place for you to give this a go, please do so. Taking responsibility for your own well-being. You take full responsibility by trying this process. What I will say is have some water at hand with you. It's important to drink water after each tapping session because water is a conductor of electricity and we're moving electricity, we're moving energy throughout the body. So have some water with you and be aware of any emotions that may come up. Go at your own pace because it may get some emotion shifting. That's fine. Just be a witness to it and don't attach to it. Be aware of the process, and every time some emotion comes up, that's energy moving. Go at your own pace. If one round is enough and it's too emotional for you, pace yourself out. Pace yourself and just go with how you feel. But this process is a very calm and gentle process to help remove the trauma and get the energy shifting. Can't wait to share it with you now. So in an EFT session, first of all, you would decide what it is that you are feeling that's causing you the most distress. So let's just give an example and say anxiety. Let's say that you are feeling very anxious. So what you would then do is you would say, what are you anxious about? If you are very specific and you know what you're anxious about, you can focus on that. But even if you're not, let's just say the feeling of anxiety. Then you would give that feeling rate that feeling on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being not really anxious at all and 10 being so anxious that you're terrified. The reason why we give this a number is just so that we can gauge how much more relief we are feeling after each tapping round. You don't have to be too specific, but just to give you an idea. And when you get to a 2 or 1, that's when you can start replacing the phrases that we're going to say with more positive affirmations. But I'll get into that in a later video. But what we want to do is we want to say what the problem is that we are focusing on. Now, don't worry, this isn't going to manifest the issue. But what we need to do is we need to kind of speak on the negative, because we need to bring it to the surface in our mind and in our energy system whilst tapping, so that we can clear it out. Be very specific on what we want to clear. It's just a way to keep our focus on the problem as we're getting rid of the problem. Once you have the issue that you would like to tap on, anxiety, you take your, well, I'm not sure if this is just showing as my right hand or left hand on the camera, but this is actually my left hand. So take your left hand, and the fleshy part of the hand here, it's called the karate chop point. It's the point where you would go like that if you were doing karate. And just begin tapping here. Just begin tapping here with me now. And when we begin a round of EFT, we speak with a setup phase. This sets the intention of what it is that we want to tap on. And it will go something like this. Even though I am feeling this anxiety in my body, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I am feeling this anxiety in my body, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I am feeling this anxiety in my body, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. So you repeat this setup phase 3 times. We then begin to tap on the meridian points on the body, saying reminder phrases to keep our mind focused on what the anxiety is. So the first tapping point is just here, beginning of the eyebrow. Just begin tapping there and say, this feeling of anxiety. The next tapping point, just the side of the eye, and repeat, this anxiety. The next tapping point, just underneath the eye here, this anxiety that I'm feeling in my body. The next tapping point is just underneath the nose and the little dip there. And then repeat, this stress and tension. The next tapping point, just underneath the lip and the little dip here, this stress and tension I'm holding in my body. And the next tapping point is known as the sore spot. So where your collarbones are, just go down about 1 inch around in this area here. Just begin tapping. Don't worry if you don't get the exact area, just tap around the general area. You may feel that this is a bit sore and tender. This is called the sore spot. And just say, this anxiety, this feeling of anxiety. The next tapping point is just underneath the arm, which is also the bra strap for women. So just keep tapping this anxiety, this feeling of tension that I'm holding within me, even if I don't know why. Just tap in just there. The tapping point at the crown of the head, just begin tapping this anxiety and this feeling of tension. Okay. Take a deep breath. Relax and take a sip of water. This is a tapping technique that you can do at any time. It's a very safe practice to use. I will be doing more videos on EFT and how to tap on certain specific areas in future videos. But do let me know in the comments down below how you found this technique. Have you tried tapping before, or is this something new that you would like to explore more of? If you'd like to find out a bit more about how the EFT process works and how we form core beliefs in our subconscious mind to help you realize how you can change the habits to transform your life for the better, check out this video up here and it'll tell you everything that you need to know.